Vikings by Kalen Garrison and
Stephen Hawkins.
There you go. This is Western Civil to 1500. For Vikings, originally came from parts of Scandinavia before they were even called savages, barbarians, murderers, and rapists. They were builders, blacksmiths, fishermen, even farmers. But where they lived and tried to survive, their lands were hard to harvest any kind of food, so they relied on their cattle. When their population started growing bigger, their land started getting smaller, so they took from the weaker villages anything they had. After those incidents occurred, land feuds started, people killing each other for meaningless things. Some people put aside their differences and started building ships to seek fortune in other countries. Their ships were a force to be reckoned with. Viking longships could either be as broad as needed for calm waters or as steep as they needed them to be for open seas. They all had the same designs and could be constructed to be smaller so they could journey up narrower paths. Having smaller ships gave them the ability to be light enough to carry over portages, and either big or small the ships they were fast enough to elude enemy ships. No ship had the capability to catch them. Vikings designed their ships to be mostly coastal ships, seeing how coastal ships were their only transportation to do their main bartering. Knowing that it was dangerous for them to sail out to sea, the Vikings weren't afraid and took the risk, continuing to build more and more ships until they had enough to sell to other countries. Vikings didn't have a single king or central government to lead them. Each individual tribe had kings, and others acted on their own accord, but came together as one when they go on missions, leaving their family members behind and sailing out to sea after going after anything they could plunder.
Being the warriors of legend as they were, they couldn't be considered soldiers. Each Viking was equipped with either a shield, sword, dagger, hammer, or battle axe. They were skilled at throwing axes and spears to stop people from escaping capture. When they first raided anyone, the first people they raided were monks that lived on an island with a monastery. Slaughtering the monks and plundering anything of value, silver played an important part in their conquest. So the raid they made on the monastery was even better for them. When the individual leaders started gaining reputation, one leader named Ragnar the Dane had a fleet of 120 ships, took the shore of Europe using the Seine River as his passage for the destruction of Paris, using both Seine and Loire River to help destroy part of Europe. With the endless increase of Vikings and raids on Europe, it was the only matter of time before they had it conquered. The King of France tried paying off Ragnar with 6 tons of silver and gold bullion in order to get them to leave and not return, only to have his plans turned against him. Ragnar figured since he had that much, then other places must have more, and the raids continued. After all of this, we turn towards Harold Hardra, who was the half-brother of the King Olaf, and his heir being just 15 years old and on the losing side of the battle, but he returns to make a name for himself with his enemy's blood. Vikings spread across Europe like a disease, with the first thing to go with a monastery. After fighting so many wars, the Vikings turned against each other and started an all-out war in Norway. Harold, growing in manhood, had an ambition to unite and lead Norway but needed to gain more power.